What's going on, my lifers? I just thought I would hop on here and do a quick little impromptu stream. I just felt like talking for a moment. I had an experience today well, not today, it's a few days ago, with my Jehovah's Witness parents. And I think I'm going to do a series on my channel just about dealing with JW parents in general. And so anyway, I thought I would just share this quick little story with you guys. I haven't been on in a while. I've been extremely busy. It's been CMA week here in Nashville, so I've been working a lot. And the music video that I performed in just wrapped up editing, and they had a release for it and a listening party for the artists. So I was there. I'm working on two documentaries that I'm going to put out. One is going to be called Race Wars. Is there a race war brewing in America? And a second one is going to be about Jehovah's Witnesses here in Nashville. I haven't titled it yet, but I'm conducting interviews, and I'm also still working on the meetup. So I've been extremely busy, but I felt like today I should at least share this story with you guys and talk about crazy Jehovah's Witness parents. What's up, Skeptic? What's up, Gypsy? It's good to see you. I didn't think anybody would even be up right now, but I thought I would just talk anyway. But maybe this story can help somebody that's dealing with their crazy Jehovah's Witness parents. So, if you've been on my live streams before, you'll know my aunt comes in a lot. Me and my aunt are really close, so I love my aunt a lot. Besides my daughter, she's the only close blood relative that I have. Besides, my cousins, but they're married and they live in different places, so we don't see each other very much. But my aunt is really awesome. She's a really awesome woman, and she's getting her house. She got her house redone and had a lot of work done on her home. And I came by and saw her and saw all this stuff being done, and I was like, "Man, Aunt Renee, you are really putting in some work. This is gonna be amazing. So it looks really good. Really happy for my aunt. She's worked really hard for a really long time, and she's able to benefit from all of her hard work. Well, my father, her brother, of course, went by to try to help her do something. I think one of her windows was stuck or something like that, and he needed her to help her get it down or something. So she asked him to help her. And what's up, exclusive princess? And he walked in, helped her with the window, walked right back out, didn't say much about what was going on. And so, when I went in, I saw how nice everything was looking. And we talked about it. I was like, man, this is going to look really good, Aunt Renee. This is dope. Good stuff, man. And my aunt noticed that my father, she said, I wasn't expecting my brother to, I wasn't expecting him to say something, but how you just came in and you immediately said, wow, this is going to look really nice. Well, he came in and he didn't say anything. He just went right to help me with what I asked him to help me with and walked right back out of the house. And I said, well, I think that he's just a jealous person, or he is just so indoctrinated that he thinks everything should be simple, and he doesn't know how to react to somebody doing big things with their life like you're able to do because of your hard work or whatever. So we talked about it for a few moments, and we both, pontificated on why he behaved the way he behaved. Well, a few days later, my father needed help replacing the battery in his car. And my aunt had all the workers in her house. She had a bunch of workers. I mean, they really did a great job on fixing up her place. And she was unable to help him. But she said, why don't you call Keith? And Keith will come pick you up and take you to get your battery and take you back to your house. And he said, okay. So I was here. I was getting ready to go, and my aunt texted me, and she said, hey, did your father call you? And I said, no. And she said, okay, I'm going to call you back in a few minutes. So she was giving him time, to maybe call me, and it didn't happen. So a few minutes later, she called me and said, hey, did your father call you? And I said, no. And she just, kind of breathed out, and I said, wow, what's going on? And she said, well, he needed help getting his battery replaced in his car. And I told him that I couldn't do it. So I told him to call you, and he said he would call you. I said, well, he didn't call me. And she said, I don't know what's wrong with your father. I said, that's not my father, that's your brother. I said, I've written him off. I've extended the olive branch enough times, and I have come to the realization that he and his wife are dead, or I'm dead to them, so they are dead to me. I don't have any more tears left in my eyeballs or my tear ducts or any part of my body for them. I've come to the realization that the next time I see them will probably be when they are in a casket. And I'm okay with that. And she said, well, I just don't understand why he's treating you like that. You're his only son, and I know you would have gone to help him if he would have called you. And I said, yeah, I've already told them both that I'm here for them should they need something. Well, he didn't say anything. He didn't call. So she said, well, I am going to talk to him, and I'm going to ask him, excuse me, why he's treating you that way, and why he feels the need to ignore his only son, because it doesn't make any sense, and I think it's ridiculous. I said, I think it's ridiculous too, RNA, but there is absolutely nothing that I can do about that. That is his decision. And I said, I hope that it doesn't drive a wedge between you and he, because the way he behaves is very possible that he would be ashamed to talk to you further because he knows that you're going to ask him about me. And she said, well, don't worry about that. If that's what he chooses to do, that will be his loss. I said, yeah, I agree. I agree that would be his loss. She said, but I'm going to ask him because I think it's really ridiculous and it's really sad that he is doing that, and I want to know why. I said, well, good luck with that because I already know what's going to happen. He's not going to talk to you. And she said, all right, well, when I call him and after I talk to him, I'll call you and let you know. Or if he comes by here and we talk, I'll let you know how it went. I said, okay. So today I was driving for Uber, doing some Uber. And she called after I dropped my passenger off. And I called her back. I said, hey, what's up, Aunt Renee? She said, I talked to your father. My aunt, that's how my aunt talks. I talked to your father. I said, okay, how'd that go? She said, well, I told him that I wanted to talk to him and I wanted him to explain to me why he didn't call you the day he needed help. And I said, I asked him to come by here and talk to me about it. He said, okay, I'll be by there at 2:00. Now this was yesterday. They were supposed to meet today. So she said today he texted her and said, I'm going to have to meet with you some other time. I can't come by today. I said, yeah, I knew he would do that. And she said, well, I really still don't understand why he's doing that. And I said, well, he doesn't want to face me. And he doesn't want to face the realization of what he's done, because if he faces me, he's going to have to face the realization of what he's done. And she said, well, if he wants to continue to have a relationship with me, he's going to have to talk about it, because every time I see him, until we talk about it, I'm going to bring it up. And I said, well, I appreciate that. But I hope that it doesn't do something to affect your relationship with him, because I would hate to be the one that caused a rift between you two. She said, don't worry about that, because I can take care of myself. I'm not worried about that. Again, she said, if he chooses to do that, that's on him. But I don't understand why he is not talking to you. And I said, Aunt Renee, I've done a lot of things that were wrong in my life. A lot of things that were wrong. Even in my marriage. I said, I've told you, with my ex-wife, I said, I've told you about that. I said, I actually apologized to her for the things that I did that were negative in our marriage. I apologized to her. I told her that, yeah, I did some things that were wrong. But I apologized for my behavior. I said, I even talked to my daughter about my part in our family splitting up. And I asked my daughter if, there was anything that she wanted to talk about, anything she felt like she needed to say to me. And we've sat down and we've had several heart-to-hearts where she was able to say what she needed to say, and I was able to say what I needed to say, and I was able to apologize for my part in things going badly. I said, but I don't believe that he is able to face me and face what he has done. I said, we all have made mistakes as adults. And I said, just because I came from his balls, it doesn't absolve him from being an adult human. An adult human who makes mistakes. For some reason, I think a lot of people expect excuse me, expect their parents to be perfect. But parents are people just like everybody else. They make mistakes. Excuse me. And I've never expected him to be perfect. But I said, I think the issue is that he is a pussy. And I no longer have respect for him because he is allowing his wife to dictate him not being able to have a relationship with his son. And she also dictates the relationship that he has with his sister to an extent, my aunt, because there are things that she allows him to do and things that she disallows him to do. And I said, because of that, I no longer have respect for him. I said, because, there was a time when I had a tremendous amount of respect for my father. Tremendous amount of respect for my father. I really looked up to him. Not only because he was, this big dude with this deep, commanding voice. It was because of the way he carried himself. And everybody respected my father. He was, he gave me a lot of the lessons that I live by now. I remember one thing he told me was, Keith, your word is your bond. And if you tell somebody you're going to do something, you should do it. And I live by that today. Anybody who's ever done anything for me, if I've ever had to borrow from somebody or do something for or someone, if I say, hey, I'll do this or I'll do that, or if I can give you this, or hey, if you loan me this, I'll give you that, I've always done it. Even with my aunt loaned me money and I gave her money back plus some, just because I appreciated her doing what she did for me. I said, hey, I know it took me a little long to get it back to you than I thought, but here's the money back and here's a little bit extra. Thank you for that. He taught me a lot of things that caused me to really have a lot of respect for him. And now, looking at him, this is the conversation I had with my aunt. He is a shell of the person that I remember growing up. And I don't know if it is, or if it can be attributed 100% to the indoctrination he's received from the Jehovah's Witnesses, but I would wager that it is a huge part of the difference in my father. But I told my aunt that, I have little to no respect for him. And at this point, I honestly don't care if the relationship is mended or not, because I've already done everything that I am physically capable of doing to mend the relationship. And the fact that I have no respect for him makes me care even less about him, his wife, my quote-unquote mother, and the relationship at all. She said, yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I wish it wasn't like that. And I said, I do too. And I know I've talked about it before, and it's something that's been on my spirit for a while. But, my aunt said that she's going to talk to him again. And if he's going to have a relationship with her, he's going to have to explain to her why he's doing what he's doing, why he's ignoring his son, because it's not right. I said, I agree, Renee. It's not right at all. but it is a choice that he has made. And I have to respect that choice. And it seems like every time I get to a point where I am completely past everything, something happens that pulls me back into a space where I start thinking about it again and feeling low about it. Because like I've told you guys before, I'm here by myself. My daughter's grown, married. Everybody has scattered to their own places. I'm single. So it's not like I have, I don't have anyone here. And it's not that I need someone here. It's just the fact that when you don't have, your parents to talk to, and you had just gotten excited about having them in your life, and to have them ripped away, it kind of adds to a feeling that you don't have your parents. Even though I could call my aunt or my daughter or my friends whenever I want to, I never ever dump anything on my daughter. I mean, why would I do that? But it really added to a really hard time. And I sometimes wonder, which I know a lot of us as ex-Jehovah's Witnesses deal with the same thing. There are times when we feel like everything's okay, I'm not worried about it today. And then there are days when it hits and you think about it. I know I'm not the only one that has these issues. I can't be the only one. And there are days when you think, man, I wish things were different. I was driving today, and I was praying about it. And I was saying that sometimes I wish that I could turn back time and not have had this awakening. Sometimes I wish I could turn back time and not have done a lot of the things that I did. Because sometimes when things fall apart like that, people can tend to blame themselves for it, and I still experience that a lot. There's a lot of times where I feel like it's my fault. Had I just not said I don't want to be a Jehovah's Witness anymore, had I not done the things that I had done that caused the end of, or that attributed to the end of my marriage back then, had I not been the strong-headed person, as my grandmother used to call me, you're very strong-headed, she would always say. And I am very strong-headed, very strong-willed, but a lot of times that being strong-headed and that being strong-willed is the only thing that's guided me through some of the hard times that I've experienced in life. So I don't dislike that I'm that way. I think it's been very necessary for me to get through. But there are days when I wish that things were different. There are days that I wish that I could just go by my parents' house and just say, hey, how y'all doing? I just wanted to say hi like I used to. But this conversation that me and my aunt had today just brought up a lot of feelings and a lot of resentment toward not only them, but the organization in general, and indirectly about me, because it made me again feel like it was my fault. So I don't know how this story is going to unravel, but I do know that as ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, it's very easy for us to fall into this rut where we start to miss family members, and you think about the good times and the fellowship and having the people around. It's never been enough to make me want to go back. But it was enough to make me have a really heartful, tearful prayer to God today about it. And the only thing that I feel like I can do is just continue to move forward with life. Continue to pray for strength on the days when it gets difficult. Because, as I said, I'm sure there are some of us that have really good days, and then there are some of us that have, really bad days. And I don't know. There's never a way for me to know waking up when it's gonna switch from one to the other. There's some days I wake up and I feel amazing, and there's some days I wake up and I'll immediately start praying and saying how I feel like it's gonna be a bad day. And it just makes me wonder if this if this organization is somehow run by narcissistic people, and they somehow turn all of the members into narcissistic people. And I feel like a lot of us are dealing with trying to heal from narcissistic relationships with people. I've been doing a lot of research about narcissism, and a lot of the things that I have read have made me think this organization is run by a group of narcissists, and the narcissism rubs off on the members. And so a lot of us as ex-JWs are dealing with breaking away from and dealing with the effects of having narcissistic friends and family members. Because a lot of the feelings that I have and a lot of the things that they do are hallmark traits of narcissists. The no contact. No contact is something that narcissists do regularly. The discarding. How narcissists will, once you say something to them that they don't like, they will discard you. And it's almost as if they treat you like you never existed. And they go into no contact. They won't contact you. Or when you tell them how you feel, they turn it around on you and make you feel as if it's something that you've done that has caused them to discard you. And it's not anything that you've done. It's just the way you think. And so they turn it around to make you feel like the way you think is an actual attack on them. Because at the end of the day, it's all about them. It isn't really about you. It's not about how you feel. It's about how the way you feel makes them feel about themselves, which is a selfish, narcissistic trait. So I'm going to do a show about that, or make a video about narcissism and Jehovah's Witnesses. But it's been a real journey recently, it's been some really good days and some really bad days. And there are some days, when I want to sit here and do my live streams or make my videos, and I literally can't bring myself to talk about it, or I literally just can't sit down at the desk and get any work done, because it's too much. You know what I mean? It's literally too much, and it's easier sometimes to just push it down. And I know that's not good, but sometimes I just can't deal with it. Just to be honest, sometimes I just can't deal with it, and I have to just say, I'll deal with it tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes, I'm like, I'm not dealing with it today, I'll deal with it tomorrow. And then the next day comes, and I just say the same thing, and then I look up in a week or 2 weeks has gone by, and I'm like, you haven't done any of your work, you haven't done any videos, you haven't done any live streams, you haven't done the work that you need to do. So it was just one of those days where I was talking to my aunt in the parking lot of a payway, and I went and got something to eat. And there have been days when I've gone to that payway and eaten, and I'll sit and I'm just looking around, and so many people are with their families, or you see older people with their young grandchildren, or older husbands and wives, or couples, and you just look around and you just think, man, I wonder what it feels like to be that. And I don't think that the Jehovah's Witnesses even really think about that. I think they are so into their own feelings and their own outlook on life that they don't stop for a moment to think about how, and I don't mean just to think about it, I mean to really sit and try to empathize with someone else, because that's what my aunt said, too. She said, Curtis has done a lot of bad stuff in his life, a whole lot of bad stuff, and we never ever treated him differently. So how would he feel if we all turned our backs on him and didn't want to talk to him? I said, yeah, I get it. And I don't really know, why it has gotten to this point. One thing that my aunt and I always say is, if my grandmother was still alive, his mother, that he would not be doing that. My grandmother was like 4'9", but she was the biggest person in the house. But it's always funny to me how people can say that they didn't have something and then turn around and inflict that same thing on someone else. Because one of my father's main complaints was that he didn't have a relationship with his father, and that he was unable to talk to his father. But then I think, and that's what my aunt and I talked about today. I said, well, Aunt Renee, he always talks about how he didn't get a chance to talk to his father, and he doesn't want us to be the same way. But then he's doing the same thing. He's not talking to me. He's repeating the same cycle. And I don't know if he realizes that, or if he realizes it and he's just so indoctrinated that the fact that he's doing that isn't sinking in. And my aunt said, I want to tell him what he's doing. I want to talk to him about it. And I greatly appreciate it. Like I said, I love my aunt. But I don't think it's going to do anything. And if anything, I think it's just going to make him not speak to her too, because he doesn't want to face up. He doesn't want to accept responsibility for his behavior, which is another classic trait of narcissistic people. Narcissistic people never accept responsibility for their behavior, or they don't face the consequences of their behavior. They always want to place the blame on someone else. So for them, and by them I mean my father and mother, quote unquote, it's easier for them to just place the blame on me and say, well, you made that YouTube channel and you don't like the Jehovah's Witnesses, so we can't talk to you. But the thing is, I was never baptized. And so if it was a matter of just not speaking to me because I'm worldly, well, then in that case, he shouldn't really be talking to his sister either, because his sister's worldly. So there is something different about me that he says, well, I don't want to speak to him, even though he's worldly, but I'll talk to my sister. And I'm not making a comparison between his sister and his son, but I kind of am making a comparison between his sister and his son, because, even though his sister, my aunt, they grew up together, they've known each other a lot longer than me and he and I have. I came from his balls. So, that's something, that's a little bit closer of a tie. And, I'm carrying on his lineage. So I don't understand what, let me take that back. I understand what the issue is. I don't like it, but I completely understand why he's doing what he's doing. He doesn't want to face up to what he's doing that's super messed up. And he doesn't want to face me because I'm not about that BS. Like I've told you guys before, I used to be a real butthole. I'm trying to stop cursing, if you've noticed, because I normally would have cursed like a whole bunch by now. But if I were to see him, especially after extending the olive branch so many times, he would have some questions to answer. And he and his wife are just unwilling to do that, as I think most Jehovah's Witnesses are, and as I think most narcissistic people are. I really think there's a strong tie between narcissism and the Jehovah's Witnesses. Let me look at the chat. I have been trying to ignore it because I started answering you guys' questions and I'll lose my train of thought, but I missed you guys. It's good to see you guys here. Wendy Sloan says, could it be the embarrassment of your public apostateness? No, they were ignoring me before I even started my YouTube channel. What's up, self-care boss? I haven't seen you in a while. How you doing? Kawhi says, I'm happy I was able to join you. Thank you for your transparency. I'm not an exjw, but your videos have really helped me during a difficult time in my life. Thank you, Kawhi. I appreciate that. Wendy Sloan says, you have us as your extended family by choice and Holy Spirit. Thank you. Gypsy Lily says, we miss them, then we're angry again. It's like a roller coaster. It really is. It really is. Wendy Sloan says, no unconditional love, affection by observing the rules. Exactly. Love you too, Gypsy Lily. Love you guys, man. 1111 says, I understand the place you are in. We have to take things one day at a time. Some days are really bad, lonely. I get it, K-Fits. Yeah, man. It's Self-Care Boss says, pretty good, living it up here in Nashville, singing it tomorrow. I didn't know you were in Nashville. Self-Care? Didn't know that. Why did you ever tell me you were in Nashville? Because I'm in Nashville too. I didn't know you were doing that. Where are you singing tomorrow? Let me know. I'll come and support you. Let me know where you're going to be singing tomorrow, and I will come through and support you. Been working massages. What? Oh. What type of massage? What massage place you work at? There's a massage place that I go to in Green Hills Mall. It's like this Oriental place. It's they do the table massages and the chair massages. I usually do the the chair massages because it's all dudes in there. I'm just not okay with laying on a table and letting some dude rub on me. I just can't do that. So I do the chair ones, and they're really good. It's cheap. Um 1111 says, I don't think we really know our parents. They don't really know themselves. They are too busy trying to fit into a narrative, one that is made for them. Interesting thought, 1111. I didn't know you had a massage business. Well, let me know. I'll put you in the shout outs of my live streams, and we'll pub your business. If you have give me your email me your business name, and if you have like a card or a logo or something like that, I'll shout you out in my live streams. Do like a little commercial spot for you and do some advertisement for you. Yeah. Shoot me an email. But yeah, guys, I don't know what to think of this whole situation, because I feel really messed up to have it just feels like, and I know my trust me, my aunt my dad, my father don't want that smoke with my aunt. He don't want that smoke. He does not want that smoke. My aunt is a literal pistol-toting pistol. He does not want that smoke. But I don't really know how I feel about the situation. I would be okay if it was just me. If it was just me and I was the only one affected by it, I think I would be a little bit more okay with it. But the fact that it could potentially cause harm, because my aunt loves her brother. She loves her brother, and I can't lie and say I don't love him, because if I didn't love him, it wouldn't bother me so much. So the fact that it bothers me, I can't sit here and tell a lie and say, oh, I don't care about that dude. That would just be lying. I would be being disingenuous. So there's no point in me telling that lie. Of course, I love him and my mother both, but there's nothing I can do about the way they are behaving. I can't go by their house. I can't call them because they won't. I could call them, but they're not going to answer. Um, I I don't want to be the cause of a complete disruption in my family, and that's how it feels like. That's the direction it feels like it's going in. If it feels like it's all my fault. It feels like it's all my fault, and looking at it, I wonder if that is true or not. Maybe it is. Maybe it is my fault, and this is just the burden that I have to bear for the decisions that I made. And there were a lot of bad decisions that I made, and I'm the first one to admit that I did a lot of things that were completely messed up. And sometimes you have to, no matter how you've changed, there are still consequences. It's like in John Wick 3. They were giving each other coins, and they finished their job, and they just looked at each other, and at the end of it, they looked at each other and said, consequences. And John Wick said, consequences. And that's how it feels. It's like consequences. And I'm not laughing to make light. But there are consequences to our actions, and the consequence sometimes for living your own life is losing the people who have been in your life. And it's a hard consequence. It's not an easy consequence to deal with. And looking back, I don't know. I know there are some choices that I wouldn't have done, of course, with the wisdom I have now at 43 versus 23. But I don't know what part of this I can accept responsibility for, and what part of it I can absolve myself of responsibility for. And I think for me, that's the hardest part, is trying to figure out which part is my fault and which part is not. And once I determine what's not my fault, how do I absolve myself of the responsibility for feeling like it's my fault? And how do I put that backpack full of bricks called guilt down and move forward? Because it's so much easier to feel guilty than it is to absolve yourself of that guilt and move forward. And I don't think it's easier because you want it to be. It's just, I think maybe it's just human nature. It's easier to just feel guilty. But I don't want that guilt to pervade the rest of my life. I don't know how much longer, mentally I can put up with that. And I'm a mentally strong person. I've been through a lot. I mean, just fighting and scraping to get to a place where I am now, and then fighting and scraping to keep it. A lot of people can't honestly say that they've lost everything. A lot of people say it metaphorically, but I can say it literally. I have literally lost everything 3 times. 3 times I have looked up and had nothing but the clothes on my back. And this last time was the most difficult. You know, fighting and being homeless and then having a home literally wasn't as difficult as losing my family again. It's almost like it devalued everything else that I had worked for and accomplished, because there would be times when I would come into my home and it wouldn't even feel like I deserved to be in here. The guilt was so strong that coming home, it felt like I didn't deserve to be happy because of all of the things that I've done that made other people unhappy. It was almost as if, part of me was saying, well, you've caused everybody that loved you to be unhappy. So why should you be happy? Why are you trying to be happy about living in a car, a hatchback, for almost 3 years and fighting through that, and now you have a nice place and you have a nice car and you have some type of self-esteem? How dare you have some type of self-esteem after everything that you did? And then fighting through that and actually getting your parents and having a conversation with them, and then seeing them and feeling like everything was great again. And then all this happens. And then even in the time of need, my aunt said he just walked. It was about 100 degrees here, literally that day. It was literally about 100 degrees here. And my father, who has prostate cancer, would rather walk in the 100-degree heat from his house to my aunt's house. And she said when he got there, he was a soaking wet mess because he was so sweaty and hot and overheated. He would rather go through all of that than to say, hey, son, can you come and pick me up so I can switch out my car battery? And it literally would have taken 10 minutes. But his disdain for me is so strong that he would rather risk putting himself in some type of physical harm than to call his son. And I'm not saying this as if this is something that all of us as ex-Jehovah's Witnesses don't deal with, because we all deal with it. I'm not special. I'm not any different from anyone else. But I'm only talking about it because there's not too many people that you can talk about things like this with that actually understand it. And it's days like today when my mind is saying I just don't know what to do. I don't know how to deal with this. I don't know what to do, And I'm usually a very decisive person. I'm doing this, and this. And then when stuff like this happens, it's like, what do I do? And I don't like feeling like that, because I'm usually the one people look to and say, hey, this is happening, what do I do? And I'm usually saying, hey, do this, and this. But then when it comes to me in this situation, as many times as I've said, F them, I'm done, I don't care, I'll see them in hell. And then something, happens that makes you think, man, What happened? How did it get to this point? How did it get to this point? Wendy Sloan said he just showed JW logic pride before heat stroke. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. What's up, AKA Perez? It's good to see you too. I'm gonna push through it, guys. I'll be back doing my shows here regularly. I have a bunch of ideas up on my board. It's just it's been a rough time the last week. There have been some really up and down days, and I'm trying to fight through those days and keep pushing forward and doing the things that I know I need to do to better myself and to help myself, feel better. But it's so much easier said than done, and I know you all know that. I know we all are going through the same things. And there's so many times I've had amazing advice for other people, and they've said, "Oh, your advice is so great." And then it comes to me, and it's so much easier to give advice than it is to take it. But yeah, I just wanted to hop on tonight because it was on my spirit, and I felt like it was something that maybe somebody else had been through, and maybe somebody watching had some good advice for me or some good advice for somebody else that's going through the same thing. But I appreciate you guys coming on. I didn't realize that anybody would even be up. I didn't expect anybody to be up. I just thought I would get on here and talk and have my own little therapy session for myself. But thank you guys so much for coming on. Wendy Sloan says, you just got triggered. I've been out of it since 1993. It gets easier, but even now I can get triggered too. Yeah, it does happen. It does happen. And I think I even hate to admit it, because using the word triggered is so negative in my brain, such a negative connotation. And I talked to my aunt when I got off the phone with her. I didn't feel like it bothered me, but then when I started to think about it, it kind of did bother me. And I start to overanalyze myself and thinking, wait a minute, well, I'm asking if they're narcissistic. Am I the one that's narcissistic? Am I expecting too much of them because it's all about the way I feel about it? Am I being unreasonable? Do I have the problem? Am I the messed up one? Do I need to start looking into what narcissism is so that I can fix myself? Am I a narcissist? But then in my research, it says most narcissists never ask themselves if they're a narcissist. I said, okay, well, I guess I'm not a narcissist then. But am I a narcissist still, though? Am I like a special kind of narcissist that they haven't found yet? I don't know. But I just wanted to get on and tell this quick little story, even though it's been an hour now. Just want to tell this quick little story. If anybody has, any ideas about dealing with this roller coaster, the easiest advice is, hey, just get off of it. Yeah, that sounds good. Show me the exit. Hey, where is it? Where's the exit off the roller coaster? Because it seems like once I walk through that exit, I'm exiting one roller coaster and sitting right in another one. It's like, wait a minute, how I get back in this roller coaster? I just stepped off of it. I mean, this is another one. It's like an infinite number of roller coasters next to an infinite number of roller coasters on either side. So I don't know how this story is gonna end. I'm sure at some point my aunt will talk to him, because that's how my aunt is. If my aunt says, no, this is going to happen, then that's what's going to happen. So at some point he's either going to talk to her, or they're not going to talk again. So I will update you guys and let you know what happens, whether he speaks to her or not. I'll let you know how it goes. It is 1:30 a.m. and I think I might head back downtown and pick up some more people. With the CMAs down here, the money is super good, so I may jump down there and do some more, or I may work on this next little video I want to do, but we'll see, guys. Kawhi says, it truly disappoints me that religion has caused so much trauma to so many good people. It has. It really has. And it's a shame. It really is. But there's nothing we can do about it. All we can do is move through it, move through life, and keep pushing. Just keep pushing. We will see what happens. Wendy Sloan says it's 2:30 in Florida. Oh, really? 2:30. Yeah, man. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but I will totally let you guys know. I will definitely be on Sunday. Judane, what's up, Judane? Isms make schisms. That's great. 1111 says, hugs, Fitz. Keep your head up, one day at a time. You are not alone. Thank you, 1111. I appreciate it. I know there are a lot of us who are going through these same things, but we will see. Judame says, you can choose to spread love, seek what makes you happy, and keep it moving. Yeah, it's good advice, bro. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm definitely doing that. Definitely doing that. So, guys, I guess I will jump out of here and either go make some money or go make some Z's. But thank you guys so much for always being around. I really appreciate seeing you guys. AKA says, what time? It's always 7:30 Central Time. Good. Wendy Sloan says, you may have a good idea when you drive. Yeah, I usually listen. I usually have one earbud in and listen to podcasts when I drive, because especially at night, people get so drunk and ridiculous that it makes almost no sense to listen to anything they say. So you may be right. Judame says, if you go back and drive, be safe out there. Hold your head, fam. Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it. 1111 says 11:30 in Cali, night's still young and I'm sleepy. You better get yourself out there, 1111. That's right, I forgot you're married. You can't get out there this time of night. You've been got divorced. So yeah, guys, see you 7:30 on Sunday. What's the topic gonna be? I think Sunday, in favor of it being, I think, in mental health awareness month or week or something like that. We're going to talk about mental health and the Jehovah's Witnesses. So yeah, mental health and the JWs would be our topic. Michelle Victoria says, I should be asleep by now. Well, go on to sleep, Michelle. Shoot. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for being up with me tonight. I appreciate you guys so much. And I will see you all on Sunday. Thanks again, my lifers. Have a good night / morning. And I will see you guys soon, all right? Peace.